What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Degenerates Uncensored Podcast. This is episode 5, back for 5. I'm here with Taylor. What's up, Taylor?
What's going on?
How have you been doing?
Doing good. Back from my monthly appearance on the podcast.
Let's go. Hey, Ryan's not here. You're here. That's
I'm happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Fuck yeah. What's been going on?
I got finals coming up next weekend, so my head's just been buried in my books. Not really. I actually don't have any textbooks, but you know what I mean. But yeah, everything's going good. I'm just ready to be out of school, man. And yeah, but everything's going good. Arizona basketball is the best it's been since I've been here, so that's been awesome to watch. And yeah, what about you, Soren?
Let's see. I guess I've just been working.
Real world treating you well?
Yeah. We're out here. We're doing things. We're trying things. Wait, okay. You're coming up on finals. Like when are your finals?
So I got one each day next week. So I got one of them's online. Then I have one econ class Monday, another Tuesday, and then another Thursday. So whole lot of econ.
Fuck yeah, let's go. One econ major to another. Let's go. Power through. You gonna make it through?
Whether I like it or not, yeah.
All right, fuck yeah, let's go. Hey,
I'm tutoring now.
Oh,
This macro is just kicking my ass.
Which one is it?
It's 461.
All right, man. Advanced. Okay, all right. I was gonna say, like, every school has their own numbers, so
no, yeah. But
advanced.
We're almost there. Almost to the finish.
All right, yeah, we're getting through it. All right, we can let's move into some of our headlines. I put this one down as Coney Island taking over TikTok. This might be like, I don't know, maybe a week too late, but I think it's still going pretty strong.
Oh, it is never too late. I just heard about this probably like 20 minutes ago. Not the biggest TikTok guy, but for anyone who hasn't seen these videos, these are just quality content. This stuff is amazing.
Yeah, I cannot believe that people like this in these videos exist. Like if you're unfamiliar, it's the guys that are like Bing Bong, Joe Byron, like all of that. These guys just kind of like, this guy goes around Coney Island in New York City and just interviews people, and like they just get like one like 5 to 10 second snippets, but it is insane. Like just there are people that exist that are like this, and I can't believe it.
Oh no, I mean, we live in Southern California. I mean, you live in Hollywood. You live right in the thick of it, but we see these like, I don't want to call them tweakers, but we see these like kind of people. But New Yorkers, I mean, there's truly nothing like them. My roommate freshman year was from Brooklyn, and there's just nothing like New Yorkers. There's nothing or nobody that you can compare them to.
Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn's pretty much right next to Coney Island too. So
I know.
I'm sure they got a lot of those people just kind of cruising in.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised though you haven't seen any of the TikToks with it, because they're like, it got so big that they're making remixes of them. Like
I've heard the Bing Bong, all that stuff, but
okay,
that's about it.
Because I mean, they've been, I don't know who it was. It wasn't David Guetta. It was someone else. One of the other big DJs. He did.
Oh, and they're doing
show.
like, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like they do the Bing Bong and then the beat drops kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how it's just completely almost taken over. And yeah, the Thanksgiving, it was all over Thanksgiving talk.
No, so that YouTube account, I think it's called like Side Talk NYC or something. They do like, what's it called? They just do like all kinds of New York stuff, like sports, like pop culture, all that kind of stuff. And the first time I heard of them was back in I think this was them when Kristaps got taken. You remember when Kristaps got taken in the first round by the Knicks?
Oh yeah.
And they had all the fans outside of MSG that were just totally slandering this guy's name. Yeah, I mean, New York, man, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, there truly isn't anything like it. We can move on to like so Drake pulled out of the Grammys, which is really interesting. Let's see, I think the Grammys is in February because I remember watching it every time I got back to college. Do you ever watch the Grammys?
I'm not like too big into the award shows because I don't know. Like, I mean, we'll get into this like more. I don't know exactly why Drake pulled out of these, but I've never been like the biggest fan of award shows. I used to watch them like when I was younger with my parents on like Sunday nights or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like award shows nowadays have just gotten so it's not about like what the award is for, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah, it's not necessarily the most talented. It's almost like a popularity contest.
it's like the newest up and coming almost, like someone that you've never heard of just to get them to become popular. So I don't know. I've never been a fan of the award shows, but I used to watch them when I was a kid.
Yeah. Let's see. I remember I watched them growing up, and then in high school I didn't really watch them. And then in college I started watching them again because I love watching the like performances because
Oh yeah.
especially during COVID, like I wasn't able to watch, I mean, I couldn't go to concerts. So
Yeah, no, exactly.
they were like the best for just watching performances or people that like let's just say, I'm a big Dua Lipa guy. I
Oh,
love me some Dua Lipa.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And she performs, I swear, like every year at the Grammys. And so I make sure that I gotta tune in just for Dua Lipa. There's nothing like it. So I usually end up watching the award shows because I mean they usually get like people to play or do their performances. Like last year they had Lil Baby
Yeah.
performing outside the Staples Center, which was super cool. What was the let's see, I'm not a big Lil Baby fan. I like him, but I don't listen to him a lot. His what's the song that Ryan really likes? It's not a Day in America. That's Childish Gambino. It's it's not My Struggle. That's not it. That's Mein Kampf. That's a different thing. Is it like a everyday struggle, something like that? It's about like
the bigger picture. That's what it is.
Oh, the bigger picture. Yes. It's about an African American like going through a struggle of America, and yeah, he performed that, and they had some crazy ass shit like out in downtown LA, outside the Staples Center. They had this huge production. They did it live, but it was just this huge production just in the middle of the street downtown.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
No, the one thing I do like about those award shows though is you just have like all the stars in like one place at one time. So you have like Travis Scott sitting next to, I don't know, LeBron James or something like that, something along those lines. That's the one thing I love about those shows. And which one does Seth MacFarlane host, or he used to host?
I think he hosted the Oscars.
I think that was the Oscars.
Wrong.
I love any time. I'll listen to anything Seth MacFarlane. So I used to love.
Oh my gosh, I truly love Seth MacFarlane. He's got what? Family Guy. He's got Ted. He's got 10,000 Ways to Die in the West, or 10 million, a million ways to die in the Old West. That movie's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know how Ted, like with just the concept of Ted to me is ridiculous because who thinks of a teddy bear that can talk in Boston and he's just.
Well, the thing about Seth MacFarlane is he always like comes up with the most obscure ideas. I mean, nowadays you kind of have a lot of like Family Guy, like Simpsons. I don't want to say Simpsons, but like a lot of Family Guy kind of not knockoffs, but like something along of the lines of like South Park, like Big Mouth, those things. But Seth MacFarlane, you just can't copy the dude. He just gets stuff out of his ass and puts it on television. It's just fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, and he gets away with it, especially in today's culture where it's like cancel culture. But it's it's like
he hasn't been. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan and I talked about this, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. It's like equal opportunity at this point. Like I think it's okay for you to make fun of people if you make fun of everyone, because then it's not just like focused on one person, but if you make fun of everyone, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I know.
So, even, I mean, with Ted, like they completely just made fun of Boston, which I support. Like, fuck Boston. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes Boston. Everyone is fuck Boston except for people that live in Boston. I think Tom Brady has had a lot to do with that. I just can't stand the city.
Yeah, I would say Tom Brady's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Really, he somehow rubbed off on every single Boston team. He just rubbed off on the city.
Yeah. I mean, I got to give it to them. They won 17 championships in 20 years or some crazy number like that. So fair play. I mean, I'm just jealous at this point. As a San Diego sports fan and Baltimore Ravens, I mean, it's tough, man.
Okay. You have a Super Bowl. Fuck you.
I do have a Super Bowl. I do have a Super Bowl. I know you can't say the same, but I mean, the Lakers were good there for a while. They won a chip 2 years ago.
We won a championship 2 years ago, and then I know growing up watching Kobe.
Yeah.
Like growing up watching Kobe was pretty nice.
Those
were the glory days.
Those were. Andrew Bynum, Meta World Peace.
Okay, Andrew Bynum is just he's a joke.
Robert Sacre. There's a name for you.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. Gonzaga grad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, let's see. I guess we can move on to. We can talk about my Smile Squad video.
Oh, baby. All right. So I'm going to give the backstory on this because, Soren, you can Soren, you talk about the video and the experience first.
Okay. So this might be the most LA thing that's ever been just this is just the most LA thing to have ever happened to
anyone.
That was
the day you became a Los Angeles native.
Yeah, I turned into an Angelino this day.
Yes.
When I was on Bumble and I was swiping on people and there's this blonde girl and I'm like, oh, she's attractive. Swipe right. I don't know, maybe 6 hours later, get the notification it's a match, and then I have a message from her. And I was like, okay, cool. And it turns out it's this long ass message of, oh, like, do you want to be in our video? We're doing a video for 24 dates in 24 hours. And I was like, okay, intrigued. And they were like, okay, well, we want all of our people to be culturally, come from cultural backgrounds and get some diversity. I was like, okay. And so this was her agent who was using her account, and her agent said, just give me your background.
Not even catch fishing, but all right, go on. So.
No. Give me a background on what your story is growing up. And I just said all right, so I grew up in San Diego, went to Alabama for college. Now I'm living in LA. My family, my mom's side is more Danish and my dad's side is Russian and Polish, and we're Jewish, and my mom is just Danish and a sprinkle of Norwegian. And she was like, oh, that's awesome. And she said, so which one are you closer to? And I said, I'm definitely closer to my Russian Jewish side. And she said, well, we already have a Russian, so why don't you be Danish for us? I was like, okay, sure, I can be Danish. I can try. And originally she said, all right, so on your date, we would like you to dance or sing something that really embodies the culture of your country. And I just said, okay, do I have to? Because I can sing, but I don't know anything about a Danish song. And if I wore anything to this, I would not know what to wear. And so she's like, no, you can bring something, that's fine. I said, okay. And I hit up my friends for ideas because I have some friends in Denmark. And I said, yo, what do I do for this? What do I bring? How do I do the culture with Denmark? Because I don't want to get canceled by Denmark because I really like Denmark. And my friend just said, bring beer. I was like, beer. I would love to bring beer, but what the fuck? Like, you're just gonna give me beer? He said, yeah, that's really the most cultural thing that we have. I said, okay, all right, like, let me try it. I texted the girl's manager, and she said, yeah, sorry, we can't do beer because she's 20. And I said, okay, all right. So I ended up bringing Legos and some candy. Also, not to mention that this date was at 1 a.m. in the morning. 1 a.m. Like, it wasn't even at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
I did this to myself, I will admit, because she gave me a bunch of time slots. Like, one was 6 o'clock, one was 7 o'clock, and then she had like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and 4 a.m. And she said, if you take the 1 a.m. or like one of the middle of the night shifts, like, that would be cool though, because we don't think anyone will take them unless we force them. And I just said, all right, like, sure, I'll just take the 1 a.m. shift, whatever. It can't be that bad. So I take the 1 a.m. shift. It's up in North Hollywood. I drive 20 minutes up to North Hollywood. I enter into the apartment. Everyone's super nice. It's amazing for the most part. Felt really awkward because they had like 4 people pointing cameras at me. I was like, okay, like.
And you've never met the girl. I mean,
no,
I wouldn't have the balls to do that. I have a girlfriend, I would never. But you know, that takes some balls, dude. That takes some serious huevos.
Yeah, I told people at my office. They were like, I told them, I'm like, so yeah, I have this date with this girl at 1 a.m. in North Hollywood. And then they were like, you're going to get kidnapped. You're going to be sold. There's going to be a lot of things happening to you that you're not going to like. I was like, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, we went there, brought her candy. It was nice. Brought her Legos. We tried building Legos. And overall, I thought it went okay. It wasn't like amazing. It wasn't this grand date that I'm like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Because realistically, it lasted about 15 minutes. It was 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
It lasted 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, that was nice. She didn't like my candy because I opened up the candy and I was like, here, like, try one. And she took one out. She was like, I don't really like gummies. And then she took a bite out of it. She's like, oh, it's good. And she put it on the counter and then didn't touch it for the rest of the time.
Isn't Denmark known for their chocolate, or am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Switzerland. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So she put the candy down, didn't touch it for the rest of the time. And then, I don't know, we built some Legos and it didn't really go very far. We were kind of talking for most of it. Honestly, I was exhausted, so I didn't really say much. I'm surprised that she was able to carry the conversation considering she'd been up since like 6 a.m. that day. So, and of course, like, the exit interview of this whole video was, okay, she pretty much called it at like 1:15. And the exit interview, the cameraman said like, all right, so how was the date? And I generically said it was good. And then my dumbass, he asked like, I don't know, about her. And my dumbass was like, yeah, like, it was great. Like, she was great. She's very talkative, very extroverted. Like, I hope we can do it again. Knowing damn well, this shit's never going to happen again. I'm never going to see this girl again. Although, ironically, I have seen her again, not necessarily in person, but I've seen her on TikTok. Like, she was doing an ad for a video for short shorts or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, short shorts for guys, before anyone thinks I'm watching weird videos. Just an ad, show them on my TikTok feed. But so anyways, I'm like, okay, that was a dumb thing to say. So the video came out probably like a month and a half ago. And
oh boy, did it.
And I got roasted by them. They fucking roasted the shit out of me.
Okay, in your defense, and in my defense, I did go on there and comment some nice things, trying to, hype you up and stuff.
No, you didn't. What did you comment?
I don't remember. So yesterday, I was looking at that video. Okay, well, first off, here's the backstory. So one day, me and Soren we like watched some NFL games, and out of the blue, he's like, "Oh yeah, I just went on this like I have like this big YouTube video that I did or whatever with something called Smile Squad. I was like, okay, that's cool. And that, because it's kind of like The Bachelor. It is The Bachelor, right? They got like roses at the end.
Yeah,
And
let's. I just want to say I didn't know that's how this was going to work. They didn't tell me any. Let's continue.
No, I know. But you told me that the video is coming out in 2 weeks, and I was like, all right, like I'm excited to see this. And then you kind of just like swept it under the rug, and I did, being an investigative journalist, I did my due diligence on the old YouTube, and we gotta post a link or something on Instagram because this is just a great video. And I will say about her like cameraman, that guy was kind of an asshole.
Dude, that was the thing. He was so nice to me, and I was like, oh man, this guy's a chiller. Like,
no, I mean, like,
this is great.
And then everyone.
No, I know. And then he was
like, dude, stop being a snake.
I know. Then he was just like, he said in the video, essentially like, I'm surprised like you were able to build those Legos like that. Like you guys didn't connect at all. And I was like, no shit. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Who the fuck is connecting with people at 1 o'clock in the morning with new people?
And she had been up for drunk. How many hours? Like 15 or something?
Probably, 18? Yeah, somewhere close to that. Yeah, definitely close to that. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description, and then I'll also post it on Instagram if you really want to see it. Yeah, I definitely tried sweeping it under the rug. I got like one supportive comment that wasn't you on there. Someone said that they liked me because I was Danish. I brought Legos.
I do remember that.
And my name was Soren. And
wasn't
so like,
wasn't it like some old women or something?
Oh man, I don't know. I didn't stalk them. I just saw the comment and I was like, fuck yeah.
Are you gonna bring up the other comment?
Oh yeah, we will. There's that. So I will. Oh wait, no, there were two positive comments. I want to start off with the positives and then we'll get into the negatives. But so there are the three comments that I had. So then the other positive comment was, it was like, oh, essentially someone was naming their favorite people and I somehow made it in. Granted, I got like 30 seconds of airtime in a 20-minute video. So the fact that anyone liked me at all was honestly impressive. I'm very impressed with that. But then scrolling down, I found another comment that was honestly hilarious. I posted it on my Instagram. I screenshot it, posted it, said this is an L. But in reality, it's hilarious. Taylor, do you want to talk about that comment? Because I don't think I can.
So the comment was, why does Soren kind of look like Greta Thunberg? Maybe I'm pronouncing her name wrong. But I totally forgot that she was that like, what, 15-year-old that like challenged like world leaders to like take action on the whole climate change thing. And if you don't know who Greta Thunberg is or what she looks like, go look it up. I'm not saying that I agree with this woman, but I see where she's coming from. That's all I will say.
Yeah. So, I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 13. So
she was 13 back then. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently I look like a 13-year-old girl. I would call that an L if I had to say.
I don't know if you look like her, but you could be like a cousin or something.
A cousin? Okay. I think she is like Scandinavian. So like it would almost
like Swedish, if I remember.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, like, I don't know. I have some Scandinavian features. So I can tan. I can get darker than Ryan. I just want to put that out there. If he was here, he would even say it. I just want to say. But yeah, so I would say that was definitely an L on my part. Just it was overall, the video's an L, but I'll make sure to get it out there so people can see it. It's got 175,000 views on YouTube. So I definitely may or may not have embarrassed myself in front of a lot of people.
Did they post like your social media handles and stuff on it or no?
I don't know. They did. It's okay. On there. So
did you follow?
I did not that I know of. Maybe I did, but it wasn't enough to make a difference for me.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't know, maybe one or two if I'm lucky. Someone commented because I wore a Supreme shirt, so I don't know. I got
You
that
kind of dripped
plus.
out.
I know I was feeling drippy. I was actually really stoked about it because I thought it was. I don't know. I honestly had no idea what I was walking into. I also chose the 1 a.m. session because the manager told me that at night they're gonna go to the CEO of Smile Squad's house and do it. I was like, oh, like this could be cool. Well, yeah, I think so. I don't know if the cameraman is the CEO. I know he's got a lot of followers. I don't know. I think he runs the YouTube channel, so he might be the CEO.
Yeah, probably.
But I was thinking like, oh man, like I'm gonna see a dope ass house. I don't even care if it goes like shitty. Like maybe this is gonna be some huge ass house in the hills that I'm gonna be able to see a view or something like that. In reality, it was this apartment in North Hollywood. The apartment was nice, but it wasn't like awe-inspiring. Like, I don't know, Taylor, you went to the apartment that I lived in Bankers Hill. It was a lot like that.
That was a cool apartment though, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it was cool, but like I was expecting this mansion. Like when you hear CEO and then like some sort of social media group,
you think like Hype House or whatever those TikTok houses are.
Yeah. I was thinking something fat and big, and in reality, it was just like a normal apartment. I just want to say there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe saving money. I don't know, but I was disappointed by the location.
Fair enough.
So, oh well. It's I'll post it. I'll post the picture of the screenshot of my Greta Thunberg comment because fuck it, why not? It's I already posted on my social media, so.
And if you see that, please go upvote it because
it needs some upvotes. I don't know what it's at. It's probably at
maybe
1
if we're
or
lucky,
2.
we can get Greta on the podcast. Who knows?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah! I'd be stoked to get Greta. See if like I don't know. Maybe we can take was it the 23andMe? We'd see if we're related in some way.
Something like that.
Man, I can't even imagine like getting on something or like I don't know with this whole thing. I didn't think that it was. I mean, the fact that it was like a bachelor thing, because I would have tried so much harder if I could have gotten a rose to go for round 2. Like if I
they did like a whole second episode and all that.
I don't know if they did a second episode. I really stopped following after because like to be honest, I think I watched like the first 5 minutes of the video, and then I looked for my part, and then that was it. So I have no idea if they followed up, but I definitely would have gone harder in the paint if I had known that I could have gotten a second date because I want to fucking win this shit. Like, I don't know what winning really is because who knows if I would have been able
what
to
do you
date
get
this
if you
girl,
win
but
those things?
I don't know. Maybe the opportunity to date her, but like, I don't know. Then, she's from Kansas. Like, like it's not any disrespect towards Kansas, but like, come on, please, like, come on now. So yeah, she was from Kansas. She also asked me if I knew where Kansas was, and I had already told her I went to school in Alabama. So it's like, all right, if I'm gonna be insane and go to school in Alabama, I'm gonna have to know where Kansas is. Like, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. So essentially wrapping up with this is just overall kind of embarrassing, but not really. It's good meme content. Personally, I think like it's good meme content.
Oh, I will save that comment on my phone for as long as Apple is still a corporation. So
okay,
that gave me
great. That's
good
because the comment is funny. Like I don't take any offense to it. I think it's fucking hilarious. One thing just to kind of like keep it on this like I don't know influencer kind of topic because I guess technically she's an influencer. I don't want to put quotes around it. I'm sorry. She is an influencer. She has like 50K on Instagram. Her name is Kaylin something. I don't know. If you really want to find her, it's not that hard. Anyways, to keep it on the influencer kind of train here, do you know who Josh Richards is?
Of course.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
No,
I don't know. Some
I do
people don't
like
know.
Josh Richards.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I went to a Kings game with my cousins. Yeah, I went to a Kings game with my cousins and one of our friends, and honestly, like, I feel like I'm in the top 0.5% with these tickets because this kid's dad has season tickets to literally like every major sports team in LA, and they're all crazy tickets. But so, anyways, we went to a Kings game. We're sitting ice side, and I honestly, like, we showed up pretty much at the end of the first period. Like, we were fashionably late. And we sit down in our seats and honestly didn't even notice anyone around us, just kind of in awe of where our seats were.
Yeah.
And in between the first and second period, we go get food, come back, sit down, and I hear a voice literally right behind me. And I was like, that sounds familiar. Like, I've heard that voice before. And I turn around and it's Josh Richards, Michael Gruen, who is his agent, and I think his friend Gavin Stevenson. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I just was like, all right. Like, I swear though, I guess like the Staples Center is just a hot spot.
Oh, yeah.
But like my cousins went to a game last week and they met the Nelk boys. So it's just like, it's
all right.
So
next time you go to a game at Staples, who are you going to put money on that you see?
I mean, based off of what I've heard, because they also went to another game like the day after Thanksgiving. What?
Nelk boys?
No, my cousins. Sorry, my cousins.
Okay, yeah.
They went to a game like the day or two after Thanksgiving, and because this was the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And they saw Josh Richards there again. Like, he was sitting in different seats, but they like talked to him when they were like, they got up out of their seats. I think they said in between periods, like, Josh noticed them because literally we were sitting in front of them. We had better seats than them. And they noticed him. So they saw him again at the same game that they saw Nelk boys. The first game that they went to, they saw Nav. Like, Nav was sitting, I think, like 4 rows behind him. So I don't know. Honestly, if I had to put money down, I'd probably throw money down on Josh Richards. But really, like, I mean, when I went to the Laker game, I saw Drake. So who knows? I would throw money down on Josh Richards.
On a total side note, speaking of the Staples Center, I saw, because on Christmas they're changing it to the crypto.com center.
Yeah, they already took down the letters.
I know, I saw that yesterday.
Staples, yeah.
Everyone was like up in arms about it. It's fucked up, dude. Staples Center was like my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be weird. I don't think anyone will stop calling it.
No,
Staples
anyone
Center.
that's like grew up in Southern California, that's always going to be the Staples Center.
Oh, well, dude, even for like anyone outside of Staples or like Southern California, everyone knows because the Staples Center is iconic. I mean, the Lakers, I mean, like we talked about earlier, the award shows, like it's always at the Staples Center. It is iconic. So it's kind of crazy that, I mean, they're changing the name to crypto.com.
I think the crypto.com paid like $750 million over a 10-year period, I think. Something like that. Don't quote me on those.
I don't doubt it. I mean, it doesn't surprise me one bit because once again, that's like one of the most iconic like arenas in the world. Like, not even just in the country, in the world. Because I mean, the Lakers play there, and the Lakers are a worldwide brand, especially now with LeBron there and Kobe played there, obviously. So it does not surprise me that they had to pay that much. Honestly, I don't know how long it's going to take for them to like truly get the name. Obviously, yeah, technically the name is crypto.com arena, but people are going to know it as the Staples Center, at least like our generation, they're going to know it as the Staples Center.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So anyways, back to my story with meeting Josh Richards he was super cool. I think with people like Josh Richards, I think they get a bad rap because on TikTok, they just post thirst traps and whatnot. But in reality, they really are just normal people and cool guys. When I met Bryce, he was super chill. I embarrassed myself and he like straight up was like totally cool about it. Like he just said like, don't worry about it. Like, you're good, man. Like, he's just honestly could be like one of us. But Josh, I think that you and Ryan would really enjoy hanging out with if you guys were ever to or have a conversation with him. But Josh is like super down to earth, does not give a fuck about anything. Really just, we talked about betting like the whole time. Like he had the over on the 4.5 when the Kings were playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game was 2-1. So it did not hit. And it got to 2-1 in overtime. But he just talks about betting. And I think definitely with the podcast that he has with Dave Portnoy, he's been able to like widen his audience. Is that how you know him?
Because so that was like how I first heard of him. I don't go on TikTok like too often. Like I know Bryce Hall, Noah Beck, those guys. But Josh Richards seems like one of the more down to earth guys. And I'm not talking shit on Bryce or Noah or any of them, but yeah, Josh Richards is someone that I've always liked. And most of that's because of Portnoy, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until he got on that podcast with Dave Portnoy, like at all. But yeah, I definitely, like I said, that I think that TikTokers like Josh Richards, Bryce Hall, they get a bad rap. But in reality, like if you met them in real life, they are just like you and me. They're super down to earth. Most of the time, I'm sure they don't really give a fuck. So it was definitely
those guys.
Cool meeting him.
Their goal is to like get their name out and like be in the headlines. I think that sometimes what you see on, TikTok or Instagram or whatever it may be, I don't think that's necessarily how they are in real life. I don't know. I mean, you've met Bryce Hall and Josh Richards. I haven't, but
no, I agree. I mean, especially with Bryce, I know like honestly on fucking TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, Bryce comes off as like a total fucking douchebag, like 100%. I mean, that was like his brand was to be controversial.
Well, that's how you get famous too. You don't get famous by being a nice guy that everyone likes.
No, of course not. Like, I mean, he literally causes issues with everyone, which is smart in the sense of like he's probably going to be like one of the few TikTokers that are going to make it out of this like
out of TikTok,
transition period. Yeah, because definitely right now we're in this weird transition where TikTok is still big. It's huge, but no one's blowing up like they were when like, let's just say the Sway Boys blew up and like Addison Rae, the D'Amelios, whatever. Like no one's blowing up like that on TikTok anymore because the people are out doing stuff now. Whereas when they blew up, everyone was literally in their home doing nothing,
No, exactly. That really was nothing. Like the peak of TikTok. Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be like a few people that make it past, TikTok. Even we'll just say that the Sway Boys, who is like whatever, Noah Beck, Bryce Hall, Josh Richards, Griffin Johnson. I don't know the other ones. Those guys, like even like just them, like they're going to have to transition to something other than TikTok. And like, I think Bryce has done a really good job with that. Josh seems to have been doing a good job with that. I don't know. Griffin Johnson, I have no idea what the fuck he's doing. Noah Beck, I don't know. He's just dating Dixie. So that's probably just enough to keep him relevant.
Yeah.
But other than that, I did hear that PSG offered him a contract.
How much? Well, like a contract kind of thing.
No, he he played D1 soccer before he quit for TikTok.
No, actually, two of my good friends at Arizona, his Noah Beck's from Scottsdale. They played on his what's it called? Like his travel team. It's called something del Sol. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, he they said he was just like one of the greatest soccer players they'd ever seen. So that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if any of those guys can transition to something else. I don't know. Do you know, I feel like the TikTokers that are going to be able to stay relevant right now are definitely going to be like Addison Rae, Bryce Hall, the D'Amelios, I don't know, maybe Josh Richards, but he seems like he's not really. He's doing like more behind the scenes, like
the thing about Josh Richards that I've always liked, that I've always like noticed, is he's like pretty business savvy. Like like I said, you know a lot more about this. I feel like he doesn't make like TikToks anymore, but he's like, he got his money and now he wants to like do something else with it, you know?
Yeah, which it's interesting because like, all right, so like Michael Gruen, he was someone who was sitting with him, his agent at the game.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't plug myself to them. Instead, I plugged myself to Bryce, which was fucking retarded. When I should have plugged myself to the guys who literally work in the business that I am in. So I was like, I fucked up with Bryce. So I just kind of was like, nah, like I can't say anything. But then thinking back on it, like, I think the next day I was like, wait, they run a venture capital. I should have fucking pitched myself to them, because then that would have at least gotten a client or something, because they got money. So,
they have plenty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. So I can't really. I feel like there's probably like 5 TikTokers who are going to make the transition over to something else, maybe like 5 to 8. But other than that, like I can't really see it, because like people like Logan and Jake Paul aren't TikTokers. They made it all off of YouTube and Vine. Mike Malak is like a YouTuber. So like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see over the next like year and a half, 2 years, to see who is still relevant.
I know, I've always wondered that. Yeah.
Like who do you think will stay relevant?
Like I said, I don't know many. I would say probably Bryce Hall, Addison Rae, Josh Richards. I don't really know many others, to be honest, but those are I mean, if I know their name, they're doing something right. So, I mean, I'd say all those guys, maybe Noah Beck too. I don't know.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. If you don't really like, if you're not on TikTok and you know, like the names that you do know, those are probably the people that are going to stay relevant, because you know who they are and you don't even do TikTok that much.
Oh, that's speaking of TikTok, do you know who Book It with Trent is?
Yes. Okay, yes, so I do.
My roommate, you know Jimmy. So Jimmy went to high school with Book It with Trent. Yeah, no, absolutely crazy. And if for the people who don't know Book It with Trent, he's a betting guy. And he's also nicknamed the Fade God, because everything he bets on just turns to absolute shit. But I got to give props to him. Over the past 3 days, he's hit 3 straight plus 1,000 parlays. So like $100 would get you $1,000. So Book It with Trent, that guy's someone that's going to be relevant. I love that man.
Did you see his video when the Lions won? Because he's a Lions fan. You did see that?
Well, he would always bet on the Lions. And I mean, for anyone who doesn't follow the NFL, I think they lost like their first 9 games. And he would, because he like goes on his account and he'll like add, like he'll give you bets. And I don't really know how he got famous in the first place. Maybe it's just for losing every single bet that he's ever made. But the Lions won their first game on a last second touchdown. And before the game, like all the people in the comments were like, Trent, if you're such a big Lions fan, like throw 1,000 on him. And so he ended up throwing 1,000 on him the one game they won. So props to Trent. He moved to Vegas now. He's living life.
Fuck yeah. He I think he got famous because it wasn't necessarily that he was fading. Like people started to notice that he was fading recently. So I think he got famous off because his videos are honestly kind of funny because he started off with like shit like, oh, my bookie's texting me, I owe him like $2,500. How are you gonna pay? And then he would like do the slow motion finger down on like the enter, like
Yes.
plus
No, you
250 on
actually,
whoever.
you know how he did get famous was Jimmy had actually told me this. So it was probably like 8 or 9 years ago. He went to, I think, TCU, and he was like a journalism major or something. And he went to a Thunder game, and he went to like the post-game press conference, and Russell Westbrook like pointed at him, and he was going to ask Russell Westbrook a question. And he's like, I'm really nervous right now. Go to someone else. And so that's how he got like famous in the first place. Yeah, go look it up. Look up Russell Westbrook guy. And that's book.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Huh. No, I mean I've been seeing a lot of like duets with him on TikTok.
Yeah.
Of like people who are like betting the opposite of whatever he bet because he just became the fade guy.
Yeah. No, the best one was so there's this bet in baseball games that it's called NRFI, NRFI, no run first inning. So both teams have to go scoreless in the first inning for your bet to hit. And so before, I think it was game 3 of the World Series, he goes on and he's like, this is like a mortal lock, like bet no run first inning. And he always has like videos of him when he makes the bets and he's like watching the games and like big moments or whatever. And the first pitch of game 3, Jorge Soler, I think, cranked the ball like 470 feet into left field. And that video is just like brings a tear to my eye every time I watch it.
I did see that video. I thought,
yeah,
because he shows up on my For You page so much. So I've probably seen all of his videos. I don't follow him on TikTok, but he shows up a lot. Like if I scroll through TikTok at night, I'll see him at least once.
Yeah.
And then someone else saying, bet the opposite, fade.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's a good segue. We can just get into some sports. So,
all right.
I don't know. Let's because we skipped LSU last week because Ryan and I were like, we talked about Lincoln Riley, but Ryan and I said, no, we'll wait to talk about LSU and Brian Kelly with you because this is your life is LSU. So why don't you just give me some thoughts on Brian Kelly
so
and LSU.
What I will say about this hire, I'm actually wearing my 2007 national championship t-shirt. But the one thing I will say about this hire is I don't think it's a great hire. I think it's a good hire. And I also think Brian Kelly is a very hateable guy. Like, I'm willing to admit that. He is not liked by a lot of people. But at the same time, what I realized and what I kind of thought about is Brian Kelly has the most active wins of any college coach like that is coaching right now. And that's FCS and FBS. And when you look at the last 3 head coaches LSU have had, they have all won national titles. You had Nick Saban, you had Les Miles, and you had Ed Orgeron. So, and those guys, when they were hired, they were relatively unknown. I think Ed Orgeron was known, but I wouldn't say he was an accomplished coach. And if I'm being honest,
he's a bust at USC.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, like about Coach O, I love the guy. Like he's such a lovable dude, but in terms of football, he's not the best like football mind.
Like he's like Butch Jones. He can recruit, but he can't coach.
He can recruit and he can fire his players up, but when it comes to coaching, he's just not your guy. And he won a title. Les Miles, who I think is a scumbag. I hate Les Miles. He won a title. So,
whoa, you hate Les Miles?
I just never liked the guy, though. The old Mad Hatter. I don't know. I thought he was always kind of condescending. Honestly, a lot like Brian Kelly in a way. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest Les Miles fans because he inherited Nick Saban's team when he won in 2007. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Saban was, when he came to LSU, he was definitely relatively unknown. He had some good seasons with Michigan State. left Michigan State, went to LSU, won a national championship, went to the NFL, sucked, came back to college.
All the time, though, is what if Nick Saban hadn't gone to the NFL?
Oh, LSU would be what Alabama is right now.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but man, it hurts. But we got a title out of it, so I can't argue. I do think. Yeah. I will say I think Lincoln Riley. I would have rather had Lincoln Riley, like no doubt in my mind. But I think Lincoln Riley is obviously a better fit for USC than Brian Kelly, and I think he would have been a better fit at LSU. But I think they're both coaches who haven't really won anything, and when they get into the big games, both of them have kind of crumbled, I guess you could say. So I don't know. It's kind of cool now because all the big programs, like all the old programs in college football that like used to be good, like you have USC hiring Lincoln Riley, you have Miami hiring Mario Cristobal. I'm really excited to see like how those hires like pan out down the road. I think Mario Cristobal was he was the best hire of the offseason personally. And I think that now that Joe Brady, because he went to Miami, he won a national championship of Miami. He was on their coaching staff in like the early 2000s. And then you got Joe Brady, who's one of my favorite coaches of all time, old LSU. He was a passing game coordinator, but he was the mastermind behind that 2019 team. But he's also from South Florida. So if he links up with Mario Cristobal at Miami, I would be scared if I was an ACC fan.
Yeah. What's interesting, I mean, Cristobal coached under Saban.
Yeah.
And most of the coaches that coach under Saban who have left have been fairly successful. I think the only one that hasn't necessarily been successful is Steve Sarkisian, but he also went to Texas. So I feel like that is probably one of the worst coaching spots to be at because they have super high expectations and they just don't have the talent for it.
No, they don't.
So, but other than that, like, I mean, Cristobal, I mean, besides losing to Utah twice, I mean, he's been awesome. He's been solid.
The thing I will say about Sarkisian, though, is it's never fair to judge a college head coach in his first year because, I mean, me and you always talk about Lane Kiffin, what he's done at Ole Miss. And his first year, they were 5-5. Like they were a 500 team. This last year, they were 10-2 in his second year. So I just think it's hard. I think Sarkisian's actually a good coach, but I just think it's hard in your first year because you don't have any of your players, and the players you do recruit are just true freshmen. So you can't really expect like a big impact out of those guys. So yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, Lane Kiffin. I mean, I don't know. This is Sarkisian. I've never really been a fan of ever since. His stint at USC was piss poor, and he got fired for being drunk, essentially, for being an alcoholic, and then goes and of course Nick Saban takes coaches who are essentially borderline getting kicked out of the sport and revives their career. So like he did that with Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin ruined. Yeah, Bill O'Brien. Yeah. Lane Kiffin ruined 2 college football programs, Tennessee and USC. USC was kind of already ruined. But
I don't put that on Lane Kiffin.
So I would say just seeing how a lot of the proteges come out after Nick Saban. I mean, just look at Kirby Smart, for example. For instance, I mean, Georgia, I mean, besides getting whooped by Nick Saban in the SEC championship, there is not a single none of his assistant coaches have ever beaten him. So besides playing Nick Saban, they literally are romping. I mean, once again, Lane Kiffin went undefeated, I think, at FIU, his first season since leaving Bama. Yeah. I mean, Kirby Smart's been in the college football playoff, like 2 or 3 times now, and has been in the national championship once already.
Yeah.
So I just really any coach that comes out of under being Nick Saban, I think that you're going to be successful from like a certain standpoint, and especially now with, I mean, Cristobal. I mean, Oregon kind of lost it for a few years after Chip Kelly got fired, and then they hired Cristobal, and now they were in the college football playoff. I mean, they had a shot. They beat Ohio State, which no one thought that anyone was going to beat Ohio State again for the rest of the year. And then obviously Michigan did it, but personally, I thought Ohio State was going to go undefeated easily. Or till the rest of the season. So I think Cristobal going to Miami is a good signing for them. I want to bring back to Brian Kelly for a second. I think Brian Kelly will be fine. I don't think they're going to win anything with him. I think the SEC is just going to be too strong. It's going to take a miracle for him.
Especially with Oklahoma and Texas joining too.
I truly don't think Oklahoma is going to be – I think Oklahoma is going to be a shadow of what it used to be.
I agree, but at the same time, that's like another – they're at least going to be half decent. I mean, they're going to be like maybe like an Auburn in the SEC.
Yeah, they may win some games. Yeah, exactly. But I think because LSU has to play Alabama pretty much, I guess not every year, but pretty much every year, I think that's going to be hard to keep up with them. And Brian Kelly has recruited pretty well at Notre Dame, but once again, they would just get absolutely slapped by Alabama or Georgia, whoever they play in the college football playoff. And I do think it's hilarious, though. I mean, Brian Kelly, have you seen those videos of Brian Kelly, like the day before he posted, or like the interview with Notre Dame where he said that he was leaving, and then the next day LSU posted a video, and then all of a sudden he had a Southern accent? Did you see that?
Family. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think that's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's hilarious. I got to give him some respect. It takes some balls to try and do that on your first day in the state of Louisiana.
Okay, I will defend him from this standpoint because when I was in Alabama, I swear, like, some of my lingo, and like I definitely gained a little bit of an accent. Like,
yeah,
when I was working at Lazy Acres this summer, was it, I guess, 2 years ago, or was that? Oh no, that was last summer. So last summer, someone actually told me that I had a Southern accent, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, I've never heard that before." And they're like, "Yeah, like, where are you from? Like, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee." I was like, I mean, I go to school in Alabama. They're like, that must be it. And I was like, but I've been raised here. They're like, oh, well, I don't know. You sound like you're from Alabama. And I said, okay.
No, that is a thing though, because over Thanksgiving, all my mom's side of the family lives in Louisiana, and like after spending a week with them, they all have like pretty, not strong accents, but they have that Southern lingo. And I found myself saying just like y'all and all this stuff, just like after I was with them. So it's a thing.
I will say y'all is easier to say than you all or you guys. So
yeah, I still say y'all
it's
all
easier,
the time.
but it's also, it's impossible to say y'all without a Southern accent. Like,
yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our last thing. So the Heisman finalists came out, I think, 2 days ago, and they have Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Aiden Hutchinson. What do you think about these final four?
Listen, I'm the biggest Kenny Pickett fan probably on this planet. At the beginning of the season, probably like week 2 or 3, I put $1 bet on him to win, like, I think it was 50 for him to win Heisman. So just the fact that he's going to New York, I think, is just awesome. And that fake slide the other day, that was one of the dirtiest plays I've seen in sports probably ever. I'm a massive Kenny Pickett fan. I love how he wears the 2 gloves. I did think, though, me and you sent stats today. I think Aiden Hutchinson's a great player, and I think that first off, I think Will Anderson should have been in New York over Aiden Hutchinson just based on like stats alone. But I think a lot of times maybe playing for Bama, it does inflate your stats a little bit just because you have just 5 stars just from shoulder to shoulder. So I think that helps, but the stats were just, I think Will Anderson had 31.5 tackles for loss in how many 13 games. Like that is just unbelievable. He had more tackles than Aiden Hutchinson, twice as many tackles for loss, and I think 1.5 more sacks. So I don't really understand that justification for Aiden Hutchinson, but I mean, he's a great player. There's no way of getting around that. And honestly, he's probably played the biggest part in Michigan's success this year, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. I thought CJ Stroud going into the Michigan game was my pick to win it, but when he lost that game, that just tossed it out the window. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought CJ Stroud was going to win it before the Michigan game because truly, I mean, Bryce Young's been good, but there have been games where he has looked bad. So, I mean, against LSU, for instance, he didn't look that great.
No.
Who was it? Against Auburn, he didn't look that great either. And to me, I just was like, all right, like there's no way this guy can be the Heisman just based off of those two games. And then, I mean, he didn't look awful against Auburn. I guess it's not really fair, but because his O-line was horrendous. He literally had to throw the ball because whatever they had like 6 rushing yards going into the fourth quarter. So I think, but I definitely, I thought Bryce Young was going to win it coming in here though. That was my thought process because I'd known Bryce Young. I've seen Bryce Young since he was playing out here at Modern Day. So I knew he was talented. And honestly, I truly thought that Bryce Young was going to end up playing last year instead of Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones was going to get a good 4 games under his belt. And then Bryce Young was going to come in at the end of like the blowouts and then tear it up. And then Bryce Young was going to end up starting. Granted, Mac Jones was insane. So that didn't happen. But Bryce Young, I'd known was the real deal. So I like I said, I thought he was going to win it coming in to the season. Kenny Pickett, I mean, I don't know. You and I have talked about Kenny Pickett before. I definitely think that he deserves to be a finalist. Like, I mean, he's great. He plays at Pitt, so that's his one, if you want to say it like fault, is that he plays at Pitt.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's doing what he's doing with Pitt is still impressive. I mean, and then Aiden Hutchinson, I saw a few mock drafts. He's supposed to get drafted first overall now over Kayvon Thibodeau, which I don't think should happen. But yeah, I mean, with Will Anderson, I don't think it's fair, or I don't think that should have happened, that he should have gone in over Will Anderson. Sure, I can see what you're saying about maybe stats on Alabama are inflated, but I would almost argue that they're inflated.
Yeah,
I would say I would say actually they're probably more inflated for the offensive players rather than the defensive players. And I think that the standouts on defense is more impressive than the standouts on offense.
Oh, I would totally agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at least on defense, yeah, sure, okay. Everyone on your defense is a 5-star recruit, but on defense, you still have to go out and make those plays and make those tackles and get those sacks, get around the O linemen. Because it's not like they can just game plan for that one player.
Yeah.
Like they still have to game plan for the whole defense. So the fact that Will Anderson was still able to put up those stats, I think really shows that he is really that good.
Yeah.
Because when you look at someone like Devonta Smith, who won the Heisman last year, I mean, Alabama didn't have Jalen Waddle. So of course, like they game plan for him, but he still whooped their ass. So I think from a certain standpoint, like I think Will Anderson, not necessarily his stats were inflated, but I think on offense, a lot of Alabama's player stats could be inflated, but not on defense because that doesn't necessarily change the game, or I don't know how to word it. It doesn't necessarily, it's not like he has other people around him who are also making plays that take the pressure off of him. He still has to make those plays. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, whenever the Heisman Trophy ceremony is in like 2 weeks, I think it's going to be Bryce Young, just because, I mean, his SEC championship game was incredible. I think voting ended last week or this week. So I think Bryce Young won himself the Heisman in that SEC championship game.
Oh, I think he had it. I think he had it in the bag before then, but yeah.
I agree. I think he had it in the bag, but this like solidified it. Like there's not going to be as much controversy. There may not be any controversy when he wins it at the end of the month.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. I think we pretty much hit time.
I do have a couple spreads this weekend in the NFL to just throw out there.
All right. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Let's get it. Yeah.
All right. I love Lions plus 8.5 against Denver. I think Denver is a very overrated team. And I do think the Lions are actually, I don't know about talented, but they never really get blown out that often. So I'm going to have to go with Lions plus 8.5. I like Cowboys -4 against football team, divisional game. They're only 2 games up on the football team. So I think they're going to kind of assert their dominance there. And then the one other one I have is Falcons plus 2.5 against the Panthers. I think the Panthers are just a shit show of a team. Started off the season great, but I mean, they've looked just horrendous lately. So I'm going to have to go with that.
Ever since Sam Darnold went down.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Sam Darnold was everything, but Cam Newton looked like he was the guy for a week, and then NFL defense just remembered who he was.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly.
I like that Lions pick. I think Ryan and I both took the Lions last week. Actually, I think they were like a plus like 10 or something like that, 10.5, and we both took the Lions because they're like, all right, they play close games. Like if you have that wide of a points margin, it just makes me iffy on why, like, to bet on the minus or who was it, the Vikings. Like they were like a big was it spread? They had a big spread, and I was like, there's no way. Like the Lions play all their games close. They've lost games, but a lot of their games they barely lose.
I know.
So I think Ryan and I both took the Lions last week, which was great to actually see them win. When he comes back, I have all of the who we chose and everything. So when he comes back next week, we'll be able to see who actually finished better. Because I think like the first half of the games, him and I were like, we were opposite, and then the last half of the games we were pretty solid on. So
yeah.
Next week we'll get back into that. All right, yeah. Now that wraps that up. What do you have anything you want to plug?
Honestly, no, not that I can think of.
All right. Well, then I'll plug us. Follow us on Instagram at the Degenerates Uncensored on Instagram, and then on TikTok, it's exactly the same, Degenerates Uncensored. You can follow all of us on Instagram. I'm at Soren Krinsky. Taylor, you are
at Tay.go.
Tay.go. You can follow Ryan at Rye Anderson 13, I think. So yeah, just follow us. Follow us on all the platforms. You comment on any of our posts, we will respond. You see our TikToks, you comment, we will respond.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. And yeah, I'll post that. I'll post the link to that video on Instagram of me. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.